Welcome in. Welcome to my live. I'm doing a wake sewing live tonight to top it on while I'm at my sewing machine getting a little extra work done. I'm still learning a lot about YouTube vertical and streaming on YouTube. So I'm just here testing it out a couple nights a week. Okay. Oh, there's 16 people. It's interesting. I don't know how to tell when there are people in the room. This is so different than what I'm used to. Well, welcome in, everybody. I'm Fan. This is Sewing with Tay. Tonight I am sewing a pair of pants. I'm hoping I'm sewing a pair of pants. Thank you. Yes, I am going to be sewing a pair of satin pants and hoping that we have minimal fit issues so I don't have to do a bunch of alterations to this. But that's the goal. This is actually a very easy pair of pants. At least I say that now, knock on wood, that I don't regret saying that later. But from my basic understanding of the pants and tons of pants that I've sewn before, this is actually easier than most. So we are going to see how this goes. First thing I'm going to be sewing is the front of the pocket with lining to the front of the pants, and then we're going to attach this guy. So, but I'm here if you guys want to talk about sewing or questions about sewing. I am is 10:36 here in Ohio. And my goal is to have this pant pretty much sewn together in an hour. I feel like that might be pushing it. That might be a little adventurous, but we're gonna see how it goes. So I'm actually not following the instructions that came with this pattern. I might take a peek at them, but I don't typically follow the instructions. So we're gonna see how it goes. So we have a pocket bag. I am going to understitch the seam allowance to the pocket so that it does not roll out. I feel like I want to change my needle, but we'll see how it goes. Seems to be sewing okay. So there we have it. We have a pocket bag and understitch on the pocket bag. So now it will fold nicely to the back. I still have to change my serger thread for this guy. I want to finish all most of my seams before I get to sewing them together because I want it to be clean. I don't want it to be messy. We found this really cool like jacquard kind of print for the lining of the pants and the jacket and the pocket bag. So you won't see it much as an outsider looking at the garment, but for the jacket, you'll see it a little bit more. Mm. And thank you all for stopping by. I'm very bad at scheduling lives, so I have to remember that. But I think my chat does have super thanks, so you can send gifts and you can send like thanks, etc. So I'm here to answer questions. A little bit about myself. I'm Fantasia. I am a designer. I am technically a technical designer. I work for a plus size brand in my day job as a technical designer. And then I have a small business where I make clothing for other people, which is what I'm doing right now. So I am a corporate designer and I am also a small business. Make sure you like the live so that it will get pushed out and more people will know that I'm going live. Although it is 10:30 on a Tuesday, don't know how many people are up watching sewing lives, but here we go. So we have our pocket bag, and then we have our pocket facing. No pressure start. Have fluff on me. And now I'm pinning the under part of the pocket to the pocket bag. And then I need to change my thread on my serger. And I'm going to finish this seam before we move on to the next part. Mm. Hi, if you guys are there watching, you can chat with me. I can see the comments, kind of. I think I can. Mm. The chat feature is very odd on here from my understanding. I'm still learning how to do this. I need a little more help on the tutorial when it comes to going live on TikTok. Not TikTok, Jesus, this is YouTube. That's why it's so different because I've just recently started going live on TikTok and it's a lot different kind of a setup than it is on YouTube. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Now, I'm still trying to learn these things on other platforms. They have like they have like types of gifts. So this just says that you sent a gift and I really appreciate you. I can like that. Maybe I can't like it. It has a heart. Oh, there it is. I can like the gift. But some of them things have like names, like their things. So I'm like, I'm learning how to do this. I'm trying to do better about my YouTube channel because I want my small business to grow. I have tutorials and things that I've been posting on my website, and I've been trying to do better posting on here because eventually I do want to leave corporate America, but I'm not exactly sure when or how I'm going to do that. So I'm like, I need to grow my small business. And that comes with awareness and getting clientele, which has actually been pretty amazing this year. So more that I can put out, what I'm capable of doing, the more marketing things that happens that let people know that hey, you should hire me to work for you. All right. So we have a pocket bag sewn on. All right. So we have the front of our pocket bag. It's a very small pocket bag. Personally, I don't know if I like that very much, but I can't change it on this one at the moment. I am going to come back through here though. I do need to hit this with an iron at first. So here we have a pocket. Put that to the side for a second because the next step for that one would be um, I want to put it on the serger. I hope that's not loud. I don't know. Let me know if you guys can hear me crunch. All right, we're gonna do pocket number two. This is a very easy pant, in my opinion. Also, I'm sewing Butterick 6933. What I'm sewing. I have a prep video that is being posted tomorrow to show how I prepped everything for sewing. I was supposed to sew earlier today, but I did not get around to it. Um, I am a mama bear. I have two sons, and he has baseball practice. So I didn't start sewing until late. So I will be posting a prep video, just kind of giving you the background on this pattern. Is it beginner friendly? Kind of, but I'm not 100% beginner friendly. The jacket has a little bit more detail in it. So again, we have our pocket bag. I'm gonna sew all of these together. If you're just joining the room, thank y'all so much for coming. I'm trying to do better at going live on YouTube more often. If you could make sure you give the live a like. And for me, it's right here. There's a like sign right there. You can like the live. So YouTube will find more people who might be interested in watching me sew and asking questions about learning how to sew and sewing your own clothes. I'm also here to answer questions for anyone about sewing or being a corporate fashion designer. I have been in corporate fashion for 11 years, and I don't necessarily make clothing. I tell the factories how to make clothing, how we want our clothing to be made, what the design aesthetic is for said clothing, and then I work with them to get it right until it goes to production. So if you have questions about that, I am here to do that as well. So for this client, I am making her a suit, a little satin suit. She was very specific about this colorway. So here we have pocket number two. Little pocket in there. Make sure this is, we'll go to the iron at some point and give this a good press so that it's flat. I might even want to stitch it closed so that it doesn't gap. You ever see men's pants and they're like stitch closed in the pockets so that it does not gap. or look bad on the hanger. Trying to eat and show. All right. I have my charger here, and I need to change the threads. And for my serger, I just like to do the pull through method, avoid completely rethreading the serger as much as physically possible, but it's not hard to do. So we're just going to put this on. I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah, put them together. We're going to tie these two together, make it tight. Because if it comes apart, then you have to rethread it anyways. And we're gonna go here. The These two outer spools of thread is the lower looper and the upper looper. And those are the difficult ones to thread, so preferably don't want to rethread those. But the first two are just the needles, so they're not that important. You pretty much have to rethread those. So I don't care if I have to rethread those, but I would prefer not to rethread the rest of these. I don't know how that's gonna work, but we're gonna see. Here we go. Worked out in my favor. Now I still have to do these first two threads, which is basically the needles. If you're here and you want to learn how to sew, you've never seen anyone sew before, can you leave a dolphin in the comments so I can see who's in my audience? If you've never seen anyone sew anything before, can you leave me an emoji in the comment section? If you're been intrigued by people learning how to sew. I like to take my foot off when I do this. I feel like it makes my life a little easier. If you want to learn how to sew, leave me a scissor emoji in the comments. There we go. There we go. She is ready to sew. All right. So I just want to clean finish my seams here so they're not frayed and uh messy looking. And just like that, we can see that it is now clean finished and I don't have to worry about it fraying. I'm also going to basically serge the whole body because I want the whole entire body to not fray. So I'm gonna start there now that we have this connected. Oops, don't do that. Should have left that pin in. All right, we have one entire pant leg completely finished. I'm gonna throw a stitch in here to hold the top of the pocket bag. You want this to be very close to the top edge because you do not want to have to take those stitches out later when you go to sew on the waistband. All right, you can take that pin out. So now we have one leg. We only have to do this one more time. Hey, hi, how are you? Hmm. I'm actually sewing the pants from yesterday's prep. I'm doing good. Today was a nice day. Yesterday I took the day off because of my recovering from my 10-year-old's birthday. But then today they are actually working on the ceiling, the roof at the office. So we got to work from home today. So it was a nice, easy day. I didn't have to go all the way into the office. I always love that. And it was a nice day. It wasn't so warm. It's like a nice cool day, almost fall. Mhm. All right. I'm almost done with this leg. I know I'm gonna have to hem these pants because she only needs like a 28-inch inseam. And last one. Mm. Oh yeah, yeah. The Shadow Clan? I'm not sure. Where would I remember you from? Yeah, my son's 10th birthday party was Sunday, so I took the day off Monday to recover, and that's when I prepped all of this, and I went back to work today because I needed a little extra time to collect myself after. Oh, yes, yes. Yeah, I'm trying to get over to YouTube more often, focus on building my YouTube live, you know, going live here, learning more about the live. I just recently started going live on TikTok as well. I'm still learning a lot about that, and TikTok seems to be very different from YouTube. So I am learning. Are you the one that told me to look up the music? I think some music that my friend's kid liked. I think you mentioned, or someone mentioned something about music. All right, we have the other part of our pant. We can take those out. So now we have a front pants with a pocket. Now I told you guys already that I'm not following the instructions because who does that? So I'm trying to decide, do I want to sew the rise all in one, or do the side seams and the inseam, or do the front and then the back rise and then sew the inseams? It doesn't really matter. It's just depends on what I want to sew next. And I think I want to sew the front. So I was mentioning that this pant doesn't have a fly. So this is a pattern from Butterick. It's just a pair of like trousers. It's B Butterick 6933 that I'm sewing. I'm trying to get through the pants because the pants seem relatively easy today. I'm like, I was kind of sleepy. And I'm like, but I think I can get through these pants in an hour and go on live, get some content, and also get some work done. But it is, what did I do with it? Oh, it's this Butterick pattern. So just like a nice pair of trousers. Um, uh, I have a associate who I took a business course with like 2 years ago, and she was there for her own business, and she was asking very specifically for a suit that matched this like picture that she found. So she was very specific about the shade of blue that she liked. So this is what this is, and I am going to be meeting with her at the end of the week to try these on. So, all right, now we have the front of a pant. This pant has a side zip. That's the point that I was trying to get to. I never got to. It has a side zip, which makes this leaps and bounds easier than typical pants. So I'm like, oh, it has a side zip. I don't have to worry about a fly. I'm excited about this. I do need to mark my dart. Oh, I think my machines are quiet because I have a headphone in. I was thinking that, like, I don't know if you guys can hear anything in the background because I think they're noise cancellation. I'm like, I don't know if you can actually hear the sewing machines. I have to remember that when I go on live. Like sometimes I struggle with going live because my background I feel like has a little bit of a buzz from the AC unit. But my studio is in the attic, so Cape Cod. So it gets very warm up here. But actually today was cool, so it's not hot up here. But these machines are not quiet. By no shape or stretch of the imagination are they quiet. Alright. Marking my darts. I usually don't like to use this chalk because I feel like I don't actually ever figure out how to get it off the fabric correctly. Oops. I have some Taylor's chalk too that I feel the same way about. I feel like it's difficult to get the chalk off of your garment when you use it. So I tend to just use regular Crayola chalk. but I had to alter this pattern because the pattern that I bought, she's like right in between sizes, and you need a little bit more room in the hip and a little bit in the waist. So I decided to just slice this up and, Jesus, I can't speak. Slash and spread is what I was trying to say. I decided to slash and spread the pattern so that I get a little extra in her width. So I'm going to not get tripped up on my cords. There we go. And I'm going to sew my darts. Oh. That's one. Oops. This fabric is so stiff and firm, but also like slippery. It's like a very odd combination. Make sure you guys like the live. I also have super thanks, and I have gifts, and as I already mentioned before, I'm still getting used to the YouTube structure when it comes to lives versus the TikTok, which is what I've used in the past. But I do have super chats, super thanks, and I do have the like gifts similar to like a gifting gallery as well. So we're gonna sew our darts. Fun fact, I don't know why you're supposed to tie your darts instead of backstitch them. I've seen people backstitch their darts, but you're supposed to tie them supposedly. I don't know the reason why though. I feel like that would be an interesting fact of why you're supposed to tie your darts instead of just backstitching them. One. And then we have number two. Alright, so I have done my darts, but I also want to finish this one like I did the other one. So we're just gonna start there. Okay. No, that's not quiet. How was your first day in school? matches. I didn't think I was gonna have one, but I do. Okay. I do need to press these, but press as you go. But my presser's on the my iron is on the other side of the camera, which requires me to move the camera. So I think I'm just gonna hold out for a bit. Take a few things at a time that I have to get ready to iron. Alright. We have our back rise. Oh, I ran out of bobbin thread. Alright, we got a back and we got a front. I only need to sew one side of this because one side is going to get the zipper. I do have to be careful with this fabric because I had a scrap piece of fabric that fell on the floor and it got wet and it had a watermark and that was no fun. So I want to make sure that when I do press this that the iron is on the right temperature so that it doesn't stain the fabric. Oh, it's 11:12. I said I was going to finish these pants in an hour. That is determined to be a lie. I got about 15 minutes left. And I still have to do the wristband and hem. So I am going to sew the entire crotch or inseam. I'm feeling like I might have to go back and alter this, make the leg a smidge narrower, but we will see what it looks like when it's together and pressed. So we're gonna match our seams up in the middle. I got off the phone with my best friend and I'm like, I'm not going to sew tonight. I'm too tired. And here I am, on live and sewing. All right. If you're still in the room, make sure you like the live. My live only has 2 likes. Hit the like button. Hit the like button and also share it so other people know that I'm on live. And there we have it. Okay. We have our waistbands. Just like it. All right. Now this is where I read the instructions because I always mess this part up. Okay. Welcome into the live. It's a sewing live. I am working on a Butterick B6933 pattern. Making a satin suit, and I am making a jacket to match. So today I am sewing. If you're here, make sure you're liking the live. Hit the like button, and also make sure that you checked out the super thanks. It's where you can give to creator. YouTube is how I am helping to supplement my small business. So anything you guys decide to give, I am very grateful for. And it helps me be able to focus more on my projects versus trying to do my day job. So if you have it in you, I have my super thanks up there. I was cutting these pants and I almost forgot that I added an inch to the pant patterns. So I almost forgot to add that inch to the waistband pattern. The way I would have been so upset with myself, but I remembered just in time before I got ready to cut, like, yeah, this actually is not right. Don't be afraid, people. You can send me a message. You can just like the live. I realized I didn't pin the back. All right. So that's the first piece of the waistband. All right, where's the second half? You're gonna put them together, and then you're going to, I knew I was gonna do this. I need to sew the seam for the waistband on the other side. There we go. Oh, all right. Davis in my bones. Now that I have the waistband sewn correctly, don't make the same mistakes I did. I am going to sew the top edge of both waistbands together. This is one of those times where I'm like, you don't actually have to follow the rules. And it's not even like a rule, it's just something someone said. But I think they wanted me to sew the zipper on in between this step. Okay. All right. It wants me to put the zipper on. All right. I wanted to sew the zipper. Okay, let's just do it. Let's just wrap it up. All right, I need to switch to my zipper foot. My screwdriver. All right. zipper. I'm actually going to iron this. I always iron my zippers, my invisible zippers specifically. Makes it definitely a lot easier to sew. Okay, I think that's okay. Then while we're here, I drop my hands on the floor. Oh. Zipper is not twisted. Have to make sure because I've done that a lot. Alright, we have that. And now change our feet, foot back. Where did I put my foot? If you're in the live, sorry, I have floods everywhere. If you're in the live, make sure you hit the like button. It's free. It just helps get analytics for my video and how I'm doing. If you like the live, I also have super chat, super thanks, and a gifting option. Alright, let's sew that top edge. Oof. Thank you for whoever gave me the next like. I appreciate you. Roughly, it says there's 5 people in the room. I only have 3 likes. So if you find it in your heart to like the live, I would appreciate it. This fabric is freeing something serious. I kind of feel like I should clean finish it, but let's just make sure I'm not supposed to do something different. That makes sense. They want you to slip stitch it. Hi, allegedly. Thank you so much for joining my live. I appreciate you stopping in and sending an emoji. Make sure you hit the like button in the live. I appreciate that as well. I'm sewing a pair of pants today. This is Butterick B6933. Almost forgot again. This is going to go towards the inside. It wants me to slip stitch this. I'm not doing that. I'm going to sew it, but I need to understitch my waistband first. Then this is coming back. Okay. So we're going to understitch this. We can do it without it being wavy. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So we have our understitch on there, this little stitch right there to hold the seam allowance in. I am choosing to, if I do this way, okay, I see why it wants you to slip. Oh, thank you. I have been sewing for a long time, so for the most part, it is pretty easy, but I don't think sewing is very hard. But I've also been doing it for a long time. I started sewing when I was 15. I went to a fashion program in high school, and while I was in that program, I'm from Columbus, Ohio, so like one of the third fashion cities in the United States. I was in a fashion design program in high school, so I went to fashion school for half a day, and then I went to high school for the other half of the day. The building where my fashion school was, it was owned by Lex Wexner. He's in the news right now. It was owned by Lex Wexner, so we had like some really nice stuff. So we learned how to sew on industrial machines just like this. Like we never sewed on home machines. So industrial sergers, blind hammers, like all of those. So we learned how to sew like our own clothes, and we would go to Joann's and buy patterns, and our teacher would teach us how to make our own clothes. And then we had a fashion show. We also had an illustration teacher who would teach us illustration, and that teacher went to Kent State University here in Ohio. So he helped me put a portfolio together to go to Kent State, and I went on to go to Kent State, where I now have a degree in fashion design and manufacturing and production, and I am currently a technical designer for a legacy plus size company. So I work in fashion in my day job, and I also do this on the side. Thanks. So I've been doing it for a long time, but I also teach people sewing, and honestly, it's not that hard. Like at the end, there's a lot of technical stuff when it comes down to sewing, like things you should do, how you should do things, but you don't have to do any of it. You can do it however you want to. If you put it in the machine, the needle goes through it, it makes a loop, it sews it together. You can kind of make things however you want to. There's ways they should be made, but you don't have to do that. Ow, poking myself. But I'm making a pair of pants. I was hoping to have these pants made in an hour. That was a push. It's been an hour and 15 minutes. I would say I'm relatively close to being done. I want to finish this waistband. Oh yeah, I still make mistakes now, so I feel like that's the best way to learn, because then you know for real not to do them again. That's why I was like, let me check, when I'm pinning this waistband on, to make sure that I'm not pinning it on upside down, because I've done that before. So trying there. Alright, let's try get this waistband together. The waistband is one of those things that I have a love-hate relationship with. I do not like sewing waistbands, but maybe if I followed the directions it would be easier, but I don't want to. I'm just gonna sew it the way I want to sew it. So you have to fold under the seam allowance to kind of get it to line up with the outside. And you want to do that, but also make sure there's like no like puckering, twisting. And this kind of looks like that, but I think it looks better once you get it all together. There's 10 people in the live and only 3 likes. If you're watching the live, can you take a second to tap the like button? I am here to answer any questions about sewing, learning to sew. I am a apparel technical designer by day, so if you have questions about me being a corporate fashion designer, I will answer those questions to the best of my ability. I also have super thanks and I have live gifts. So if you want to gift for watching the live and learning something about sewing, if you want to, you definitely would be appreciated if you do a super thanks or a live gift. My goal, as I start to go live more often, you guys will hear this from me. My goal is to be in bed by midnight every night because I have chillins who need to get up for school in the morning, and that means I have to get up before them. So I try to be in bed by midnight. So this is taking me longer than I want, and I actually don't want to do that. It's taking me longer than I want to finish sewing this, but I feel like I have a pretty good start. I'm going to try to stitch in the ditch for this waistband. Hopefully it comes out good. I feel like I should have changed this needle. It sounds so loud. Okay. See if we can stitch in the ditch. Oh, cool. I actually don't go live often. I'm trying to do it. I'm trying to set a schedule, but that never really happens. I like Mondays to go live, Mondays and Sundays, but my son's birthday was this past Sunday, so I didn't go live. So I am trying to find a routine where I can log on and kind of interact with people and get some sewing done while I'm here. So I'm working on finding a balance when it comes down to it. Okay. Alright, this is going to be my last one, my last stitch. I have this song stuck in my head, so this live is going to play back and it's going to be me humming, just sewing by myself. Alright. Alright. I feel like I might have to taper these pants a little bit because they feel a little bit wide. But for the most part, this is the pant. And she has to be ironed up and steamed, but here she is. Yeah, I feel like she's a little straight. I feel like I might give her a little taper in the legs, make her look a little bit more modern. But thank y'all so much for watching with me. I might be back on tomorrow night around the same time, 8, 9 o'clock. I have to sew the blazer that goes with this, and it will not go that fast. I'm not that fast with blazers. So thank y'all so much. Thank y'all for who sent gifts, and thank y'all for who shared the live. It really means a lot to me and my small business. But until next time, I will see y'all later.